Sue. Welcome to the Lenormand Lovers STL, where you can learn how to read Lenormand cards for yourself. They are my favorite oracle card. They're very, very intuitive and incredibly accurate. So this series of videos is going to help you learn how to combine two cards together. And that is the beginning of learning how to read them, read the story that's in them. So you should have originally watched the first video, which is Spirit Vocabulary, where we go through each card and assign a one-word descriptor to the card that resonates for you. I have my own list. You're going to want yours. This series of videos, there should be 36 here, is where we're going to go through the cards and combine them together. We'll start with the Rider card and combine Rider with each of the other 35 cards, coming up with a two-word combination for that match. We'll do that for each of the 36 cards. So if you've already watched this video for another one of the cards, you can just skip in 6 minutes or so and start right in the middle, and it'll address the card that was written on the very front of the video. So all right, we're going to get started with our two card combinations. I'm going to share my screen with you. All righty, what are Lenormand cards? Lenormand cards are named after Mademoiselle Lenormand, a French professional fortune teller of considerable fame who lived during Napoleon's time. Mademoiselle Lenormand is considered to be the greatest cartomancer of all time, highly influential during the wave of French cartomancy that began during the 18th century. She didn't create the cards, but became famous for using them to read for her clients, as will you become famous when you learn how to read the cards. The 36 card deck is simple. It's illustrated with fairly concrete literal meanings and is known as Petite Lenormand. As with all fortune-telling vehicles, these are to be used for fun and as a form of entertainment and are not to rule our lives. We are all born with free will that we need to exercise when making daily decisions. So why Lenormand cards? They're very straightforward. Each symbol represents an object, a person, an idea, and it speaks directly to each one of us. We use our own personal symbol vocabulary or spirit vocabulary to tell the story that shows up in the cards. There are only 36 cards that are anchored in simplicity, making the foundation work to prepare to read the Lenormand cards very easy to grasp. And the deck size is usually small, like a deck of playing cards, and easy to handle. So the benefits of reading Lenormand. Working with the Lenormand cards will strengthen your connection to your intuition. Being so easy to read, Lenormand cards will strengthen your confidence in your reading skills very quickly. They can show you the direction you're heading in any situation, and it's up to you to stay this course or to make changes. The cards serve as a messenger from your higher consciousness. And these cards are eerily accurate and can give you a glimpse of your future, helping you to prepare and manage your life. So here are some resources. There are many different books out there in the marketplace that can help you on your journey to master reading Lenormand cards. And I have chosen to use the following. The book I use is The Essential Lenormand by Rana George. The tools don't get any better than what Rana has listed here in the book. Each card gets 2 to 3 pages of very specific information. There's lots of different card spreads, and it's a wealth of information. So this is the book that I recommend for you. Now the card decks that I use 2. In the videos, I'm going to be using the Dreaming Way Lenormand. I just love these cards. The artwork is amazing, very easy to grasp, very, very pretty. The other deck, well, actually the deck that I learned on is the Blue Owl deck. Very specific back. These are pretty straightforward as well. Like that's a bouquet. Here's an anchor. Very, very straightforward but you can use whatever deck speaks to you. These are always available on Amazon, but you can also check with a local bookstore if you want to support business in your neighborhood. So I studied under a very talented teacher for several years, building my reading skills, and this led to my reading for the public in 2017. Choose what speaks to you from these videos and from the books, and leave the rest. There are no real hard and fast rules. Some decks come with extra cards that reflect a different view of the card. For example, I have a deck where there's 2 men and 2 women. One's a young man, an older man, a young woman, an older woman. One of the decks I have has multiple birds in it. Might be owls versus crows. So pick the card that speaks to you and then leave the other one out. You don't need to have 2 men and 2 women. It'll start getting really, really confusing. Oh, the other resource I'm going to tell you about, so when we did the spirit vocabulary, you came up with your 1-word combinations for letters. Not combination, spirit vocabulary. I have put together a whole spirit vocabulary PDF that I am happy to let you download. But I'm telling you, these are my 2-word combinations. So they may not speak to you. You have to have your own. But if your words happen to line up with mine, then you can use it. So anyway, that's down below. You can download that. Alrighty. So there are some previous videos on here, moving through each of the 36 cards. Building your spirit vocabulary is the foundation for reading these cards. There are no set rules, and practice, practice, practice is the key to your experience. So the 2-card combinations, they're read in pairs, coming together to create a prediction that tells the story or answers the question that was asked. Now, learning these 2 cards is just the foundation. From there, we'll add a 3rd card. From there, we'll spring to 5 cards, then to 7 cards, then a 9-card block, then many, many other different layouts, and finally the grand tableau. So there's all kinds of ways to read these cards, but it all hinges on you being able to read, when this card comes up next to this card, this is what it means for me. So the symbols will flow together to give clarity about the past and give a glimpse of the future. Combining cards helps us blend the story of the cards, stringing the cards together to make a coherent statement. So we're going to start by looking at the first card as the subject of the 2-card reading, and the second card as a description that modifies it, or a noun as the first card and the adjective as the second card. So just as a refresher, noun identifies a class of people, places, or things, and the adjective is a word or phrase that describes the noun to modify it. Alrighty, so we're getting ready to start. Alrighty. Don't forget to download your handouts and print out the handout for this exercise. Check your settings before you print, because this is a large 36-page document and you might want to print it double-sided. You can pause the recording and do that now. And then there are links below the video for the Lenormand card combination blank PDF. You'll only need to print this once, and you'll use it for each of the 36 videos. So how to use this handout. We're going to take 1 word that symbolizes the meaning of each card in the Lenormand deck that you came up with in the exercise of spirit vocabulary. You're going to put that into the printout next to the card it represents in the column marked 1. For example, if we start with writer, you'll list for writer what your word was. For me, it was messenger. So messenger goes in the column 1 all the way down. Then what we're going to do is marry up each of the other 35 cards. So we're going to take writer plus clover. We'll put in what clover means, so lucky, and then we combine them together. We have messenger and lucky. We have a lucky message coming our way. So this will give you your 2-word combinations for each of your cards. I'm going to stop sharing at this time and move on to a different handout. we are going to be doing card number 10, the scythe or the sickle. So this is that tool that you use to harvest the wheat in the fall. Sometimes it's also the staff that the figure of death carries. So there's a lot of different meanings for this card, but for me, it is either sudden or sharp. So it's also a timing card because fast is in there, so sudden. So we're going to start with the writer. So if the writer for me is message or news, I'll put news in. Together, sudden news, maybe sharp news, could be painful news. So I'm going to say sudden news. Now, clover is all about luck. And so it could be sudden luck. Seems kind of simple, but it doesn't have to be hard. Overthinking it is not good. So sudden luck. Now we have the ship, which for me is travel or a journey. So taking the travel, the journey, and something sharp, cutting, I'm going to say the trip was canceled. Whoop. Trip was canceled. So now we have the house. For me, that's home. And the scythe is more of a negative card. So I'm going to think of it as something painful at home. So I'm going to say problems at home. Now it could also cutting away, maybe you're pulling down wallpaper. It doesn't necessarily have to be something terrible. Tree is health. So health plus something sharp. Sometimes the scythe is about surgery. So I'm going to say surgery, since it's related to health, or maybe extraction. Then we have clouds, which is confusion. So I'm going to say something's uncertain. It's unclear, maybe even indecision. Something that's come on kind of quickly. So the snake is danger for me, or betrayal. So I'm going to say sudden danger. Now we have the scythe and the coffin. The coffin is an ending, and the scythe is sharp. So this is like a double negative kind of thing. So I'm going to say termination. Something's ended, and it's not something good. Doesn't necessarily have to be death, but it could be you've lost your job. And again, because you'll start to read the cards more than two, you'll read them 5, 7, or in a square. So what else is around that? So let's say termination. Oops. Go back here too. This is ending. I did have this show up in a reading before, and it's the woman said to me, "You're going to quit your job." I'm going to quit my job. I quit my job 3 days later. Yeah. So believe it. Believe it. Okay, bouquet is a gift. So what's interesting with this, though, is this could also be nothing more than gardening. I always think of it as a gift. But let's say it was gardening. So gardening and the side would be harvesting. But I will think that this might be, if it's related to a gift, maybe a a positive outcome, which would be a gift. Now we have the whip is arguments or repetition. So it could be sharp words, sharp arguments, sudden arguments. It's not good. Birds can be gossip. Birds for me is two people talking, such as in therapy or life coaching. Can also be a couple, a mature couple. So I will say that this is sharp words. Now, a child for me usually is new, or if I'm reading about a family or something, then I would say it's a child. So I would say this could be a small cut. This could be new pain, new cuts, something that's not great. So I'll say new loss because it was cut away. The fox is usually something sneaky. So, and it's also job. So I'm going to say this is job loss. Now the bear is a couple things. It's diet, finance, and business. It's usually business, but it does come up with those other two things. And diet being food, because the bear seems to always be looking for food. So this could be downsizing at work. I'm going to say cutbacks at work. Or it could be you're starving yourself on a diet, or you could be, working on a budget. So you're feeling the sharp pain of not having enough money. Stars is dreams or wishes. So along with fate or something happening fast, I'm going to say change of fate. Again, this could be just something as simple as a bad dream or being awakened from a dream quickly. So the stork is transition. So sudden transitions. The dog is loyal friend. So the scythe and the dog could be your pet having surgery, or it could be the loss of a friendship. And then the tower is usually a corporation. So this is downsizing again at work, downsizing. So the tower can also be isolation. I think a Rapunzel in the tower. So this could be painful isolation. So again, it depends on what it means for you and what the other cards are around it. So now we are going to do the last 18 cards. So the garden for me is a gathering. Gathering. So a sudden gathering, ooh, this could be something silly like, what do they used to call those things? A flash mob. We'll put that in there, flash mob. A fast, sudden gathering. So the mountain is obstacles or delays. I spelled that wrong. Obstacles, delays. So sudden delays, but not insurmountable. Crossroads is choices. So let's say you have to make a fast decision. Mice is stress or diminish. Stress or diminish. So this could be the end of pain. This could be combined with the side if it doesn't feel good. So let's just say sudden breakdown. Maybe sudden depression even. The heart is love, which is a wonderful thing. So love and the side, this could be heart surgery or heartache. A broken heart. So let's see here. Now the ring is a commitment. Again, these are all mine. So sudden commitment. It can also be what goes around comes around. So I want to say the commitment is severed because of that cutting motion. So the book is a couple things. It's secret knowledge, it's esoteric knowledge, it could be a project. Secret knowledge, the book. Ooh, maybe the secret is revealed. Or the secret is painful. The letter is written communication. So sudden, ooh, a cancellation notice maybe. Something in writing. Termination notice, something that's not good. So the man, of course, is a man, so he could be a surgeon. Same thing with the woman, she could be a surgeon. The lily for me is peace, tranquil. I would say your peace and tranquility. Sudden loss of peace. The sun is success. So sudden success. So success kind of overrides the bad part. Sudden success. Or it could be success comes to an end. So I guess it depends on what else is around. The moon can be emotions. Comes up a lot for me for psychic stuff. And with the side, it's also fate and reputation. So I'm going to say reputation takes a hit. The key is the solution. So this could be sudden or fast solutions. But it could also be the solution is to cut away what no longer works for you. That comes up a lot. Fish is resources for me, or abundance. So we could say loss of abundance. The anchor is security. So your security has been cut loose. So you're adrift, or possibly you've been fired. And then the cross is a burden. So this is sacrifice. All right, so that is the scythe. Not an easy one. So I'm not going to walk you through right now in this video all the rest of the combinations, but come back and work on each one of the individual videos to put your combinations together. You can complete the assignment on your own because really you need to use your 2-word combinations. You don't need to use mine because if you use yours, it's easy. You know, people think you pulled it out of the air, but it's what resonates for you. You can have, you have the handout to use to complete the assignment. My gift to you is the full combo of each 2 cards put together. But again, those are my symbols. But that's listed down below. You can click on the link. Now, the next step, I'm going to be organizing other classes. I would encourage you to go through and finish your 2-word combinations, but then come back and learn how to read 3 cards together, then 5 cards. I think we'll do 7 cards as well. the portrait spread, and eventually the grand tableau, and I'd love to have you along. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can drop me an email at sue@piedpiperofpurpose.com. I won't analyze your readings, but I can help you if you're stuck or if you have a question about how all this works. In the meantime, I'm super proud of you for working hard to strengthen your intuition and to give yourself the time to delve into this. It really speaks to my heart, and I'm here to help you if I can. So just send me an email if you need help. All right, take care.